Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel. We are at the end of 2019 and yes, it's been 2 years. As an XRP community member, I've been waiting for a rise in the price, but nothing happened. The price was going downside. The bears were attacking us. But we can put that into a positive perspective. Say we already waited 2 years. Now it may be 3 months, 5 months or 6 months until a new trend starts and the price starts to move to the upside, potential reversal in the price action. So now this is the first one we are going to share today. That's XRP researcher, XRP investor, showing cross-border payments going to rise to $30 trillion by 2022. So yeah, it's 2022 still. Excuse me. To reach 2022 30 trillion, I think yes, from it will move slowly, like 2020, 2021, 2022. So there will be a gradual expansion in that. So while reading that, it's written cross-border payments are said to continue to expand at a rapid pace. One key driver is growing international trade, not only in goods but now increasingly in advanced services including e-commerce, digital services such as Airbnb, Uber. Meanwhile, demand from foreign investment flows remain substantial along with workers. Remittance bolstered both by greater volume of migration and migrant incomes. Furthermore, retail as well as corporate transactions are driving overall value of cross-border payments. So if we look at general cross-border payments, we are looking at a big market, say 30 trillion. So currently looking at the market cap of XRP and comparing this, it's too small. Now, yes, this is only for the cross-border payment, using XRP for your on-demand liquidity purpose, right? But it's not only the use case for XRP, there are others as well. Okay, now moving on to the next one. This is from Lord Lionel, showing that Japan's SBI and Germany's Börse Stuttgart, I think I pronounced it wrong and I'm sorry for that. Now if there are German viewers, you can correct me, do let me know the actual pronunciation in the comment section below. Anyway, now to bring crypto across Asia. So if we are looking at that, what we know is Japan's SBI means SBI is high on XRP. Now as we know, Japan is working a lot using XRP. The banks in Japan are actually using that. So if we read through that, what I would like to highlight is Asia and Europe are the fastest growing markets for digital assets at the moment. Said Alexander Hopter, chairman of the management board at that German bank. He added that the SBI partnership will allow them to collaborate on various initiatives, including cross-issuance and listing of digital assets. So that's going to be huge. Now you can see that Japan as a country is going in, not just dipping their toes, they're going in kind of fully. And now it's another nation starting to do so. So that's going to be huge. Now, this is from Happy XRP, showing that say goodbye to the bank as we know. Yeah, I also think, in the same perspective, like China is supposed to launch the first national digital currency and there will be no counting the disruption. Yeah, of course, if there are financial institutions who are taking advantage of the consumers, and when there is new technology which can actually solve those areas, reduce the friction, bring, more easy way of dealing with the same thing for the customers, why to go back to brick and mortar banks, right? Yes, of course, if they are going to provide same services with the same cost and same speed, yeah, you can compete. But at this moment, it's hard to compete, right? So that's why most of them are actually partnering with the fintechs like Ripple. Okay, now this one is from MRC Baba Yaga. It's showing RIP to proof of work. Now yes, when I actually went through that, so the perspective is like they're actually looking at climate change. So they're actually looking at climate change and talking about a new financial system. So if they are actually talking about a new financial system, which is sustainable financial system, and they are talking that a new sustainable financial system is under construction. It is funding the initiatives and innovations of the private sector and amplifying the effectiveness of government's climate policies. So if you look at that, and read the title given by Baba Yaga, yeah, we can agree on that, because if we know something like proof of work, say take Bitcoin, and just look at how much energy is consumed to mine Bitcoin, so you'll understand what the perspective is put on by Baba Yaga. You need something which doesn't actually need this kind of mining. It doesn't require that much energy, right? So the fingers are actually pointing towards something like XRP or maybe XLM or others which are already mined. But what you have to consider is the friction should be low. It should be solving a real problem for real customers. Now, moving on to the next one, it's showing these from the social investor, is showing that Federal Reserve actually points their fingers towards the Nostro account, and they are stating that it is causing significant liquidity challenges for banks. Now, if you actually look at that and think a bit back, like as we talk in this channel, we are actually looking at a new financial system which is being built when we are alive. At least after 3-4 decades, we can actually state that we were there when the new financial system was being implemented. From last couple of years, I believe last couple of years, the new rails and the plumbings for this institutional change is actually being laid. So yes, it's not completed yet, but it's gonna be completed soon. So as the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, used to state, the Nostro and Vostro accounts are actually keeping dormant funds. And yeah, there were a lot of criticism from a lot of Bitcoin maximalists or from traditional banking sides, stating that there is no dormant funds, there is no such thing as dormant funds. But now, if this is true, and we can, if you want to read that, you can go through that, because I think this title itself is self-explanatory for the article, so that's why we are not actually going into that. But I hope you got the idea what I'm talking about. If the Nostro accounts are going to be taken back, at least say 10% or 25%, then it's going to be a huge amount, say for the market cap of XRP, if banks are going to hold that. Now this is from Brad Garlinghouse, showing your vision is coming true. That's pointed out by XRP Stewart, because there's a tweet showing that, from Brad Garlinghouse, he stated in 2017 that at some point in the future, I very, very much believe that you're gonna be able to go to your Schwab account or Fidelity or E-Trade account, and you're gonna be able to buy Bitcoin. You're gonna be able to buy XRP, and I think that's only going to increase the demand for digital assets, because it's going to be more accessible. Yes, when it's going into such established, reputed firms, at least say 1% of their portfolio will be allocated by 10% of them, but that's gonna be huge, because those are big players, the whales, right? Having a lot of liquidity in their hand. Now, when you look at that and compare what's happening now, say November 25, Charles Schwab Corporation to acquire TD Ameritrade. So you see the link here. Then October 2018, it's showing Fidelity Digital Assets announced. So it's pointing towards the digital asset side of Fidelity, right? Then E-Trade is close to launching cryptocurrency trading. So that's early 2019. So you can see when individuals like Brad Garlinghouse are stating something, it's like they are insiders, right? They are insiders. They know a lot of information that we don't know, and they don't actually disclose that. They'll just state, we have some non-disclosure agreements, the NDAs, so we can't actually put out those informations right in front of you. Now, moving on to the next one, this is from Elixium Capital, showing value is always in the eyes of the beholder. Now, as XRP community member and an XRP holder, when I state that I'm really high on XRP, and yes, I don't consider Bitcoin as worthless, because I really consider that's the first one of this blockchain cryptocurrency, and I believe that it's acting as a store of value as of now. Because if you consider gold, silver, or any other such thing, and consider the price appreciation in last 10 years, you can know that those who entered in Bitcoin in the early stages really stored their wealth and multiplied that. So I don't think I'm negative on Bitcoin, because personally I own BTC, Ether, and other cryptocurrencies. But yes, majority of my portfolio is allocated to XRP, because I believe in the technology, and I'm in for the long run for this, because as we talk about a new financial system in this particular channel, we can say that we are going to wait for next 3 to 5 years or 10 years. We won't take all the positions out if even the price is going 10, 20 times. Yes, I believe 10, 20 times or 100 times is possible based on charts. Now, this is a chart from a different analyst showcasing, nothing directly, but you have to understand what has happened previously. So say he's actually comparing what's happened here, what's happening here. It has some kind of similarity. Now, when looking at this pump, you can see that if you take out the long chart, you can actually see that there is a previous high somewhere here. So it's here. You want to go to the technical analysis, we'll actually go to that. We'll go in detail once we complete the news area. Now, going into this one, this is showing that this quote from Federal Reserve Bank is priceless. Digital currencies exist as data. The cash is in your wallet. Cash in your wallet exists as a blend of 75% cotton and 25% linen. Neither is inherently valuable. So do remember that. Because if you have a dollar note, take that dollar bill and read it. The one I have, in that note, it's written that it's a note for the debt by the government. So why you want to keep the debt by the government? Because previously, when it was in the gold standard, you could exchange your note for equivalent of gold, but now you can't do that because it's just debt of the government, right? Now, moving on to the next one, this is from XRP, Happy XRP. It's showing the whale alert and the movement today, December the 31st. So when you're actually looking at that, you should be cautious. Like, the movement is actually happening heavy for XRP. So we don't know whether it's going to be a sell, whether it's going to be a buy, but as far as I'm concerned, when I'm looking at that, I will be looking like the price is kind of at the bottom. And if you are smart and have millions of capital to put in, then you will be looking at some asset which has already retraced to the maximum. It's at the lowest point. The psychology is so low, people are against it. Then yes, it's the perfect time to buy in, accumulate, right? So if you are smart and you have capital to deploy, then I personally believe that this is kind of a good area to buy in XRP. Now, yes, that's just my perspective based on the charts I see in front of me. Now, this is the next one. Yeah, this is not directly connected to XRP in any way, but as I was reading through some of the news today in the morning, when I was researching about the news, I saw this. So when this happens, usually the value of safe haven assets go up, like say gold. So now as you can see that this is December the 31st and 12:43 a.m. here, just 6 hours before, and USA strikes will have dangerous consequences, states Iraqi PM. So if that is to happen, there can be a potential war-like situation pushing the price of safe haven assets to the upside. And then again, what you have to understand is the US will be putting sanctions on Iraq. Iraqis will be, using Bitcoin and other digital currencies to dodge the sanctions. And again, like last time, the price of Bitcoin may move to the upside, taking other cryptocurrencies along with it. Most of the time that happens, right? Now, looking at the overall cryptocurrency space, we can see that in the last 24 hours, most of the cryptocurrencies are in negative territory. Now, yes, it's not like minus 10%, minus 20%, just minus 1%. But if you look at 7 days, you can see that some of them are in positive, but yeah, again, it's not that high. Only Bitcoin Cash is 10% in profit for last 7 days, and then Bitcoin SV. So yes, now moving on to XRP. Now yes, we will actually compare this area based on what we discussed previously using just the MACD and the price action chart. Now this one is a chart of XRP in a 4-hour. We are using MACD and stochastic RSI, and what I would like to highlight is if this pattern is to repeat itself like what it happened here, say it made this particular pattern, then the wedge broke to the downside, it came down. So if that is to happen, then this particular line will be acting as a support. At least as of now, it's being acting as a support, and the trend line is still valid. So if the price is going to the downside, then you should be expecting a new low. But if you compare it with this one, you got multiple touches at the bottom, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go to the downside. Whereas at the top, you only got like 1, 2, or if you count this, then 3. But here the thing is actually different. Like you already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches at the top, whereas you only have 1, 2, 3, 4 5 touch at the bottom. So personally, I think the price can actually break to the upside, and if that's to happen, then yeah, you can move. Just your target will be somewhere here. But what you have to keep in mind is you have overhead resistance all over here, along with the same time you have resistance here. So the fluctuation to the upside will be kind of limited unless we have that much volume coming in. Now we want to compare this scenario, right? So for that, we'll actually take a daily chart of XRP, zoom out a bit, then put the chart into log scale. Now this is the log scale chart, and as we were talking about that particular pattern, I'll just take out the stochastic RSI, just keep the MACD and the price action. So in this particular chart, you can actually see what the guy is pointing out. Say for him, this is somewhere around 2015, right? And I want to show you the same thing here. Say it's 2014. So if you actually look at this, you can see this here, right? So when the price broke to the upside from this particular trend, this trend, which we have something similar here, it went to the all-time highs. It touched that all-time high, corrected back down, then went to the upside. So this move, if you actually measure, that will be like the all-time high. Then this move from here to here is like 500%. Then from here to the next high at the top here is around 600%. So if you are to actually measure the same thing happening here, then we will be actually looking at, say, the all-time highs here, then 500% from there. So the all-time high, say, is around 3.6. So if you really want to take a measure of what happened previously, you will be looking at, like, say, this is 3.6, so 500% means 5, you will get somewhere here around 25, 27 area. Then 600% from there means somewhere around 180, 190. So yes, when we look at that, it looks so high, right? It's $180, $190. So that looks like something impossible. But what you have to consider is we are not only looking at the history, considering what happened previously and how many percentage of fluctuation happened previously. We'll try to connect, say this is the previous top, this is the stop. So if you actually connect this, you can see that it won't actually happen tomorrow or this year. I'm not sure about that, but if the pattern is gonna stay valid, now for this particular pattern to be valid, we should bounce from here to the upside. If we are continuing to the downside, then yes, this will be extended. So as of now, this is respecting this particular area. So if you actually see that, the price may move to the upside like this. Now considering the total number of days it took from this end to this end to reach that top is around 300 days. So if you really take out that 300 days from here, say it's somewhere here, we'll be reaching somewhere here, and that's around $64. So in that particular aspect, personally, I'm looking at a big picture. I personally think that no, this time it's gonna take a bit longer. The up run will be somewhere, say, around 700 bars or at least 500 bars. So that's $100. But yes, when we stay directly $100, considering the asset which is now below 0.2, those who are listening to me will be thinking, this guy is mad, he's smoking something weird. But no, it's not. We are actually looking at technicals, right? We are looking at chart. We are looking at the history, what happened in the past, and what is possible. So this is not just smoking weed, because I previously got a comment asking, have you actually used weed? Now I don't use those kind of stuff personally, but if you look at this, what you can understand is this is trading, right? We actually look at the probabilities here. We don't know what's going to happen. We are just looking at what is the probability that this can happen. So if you are a buyer here, then yes, you can look at the potential for this asset and buy this asset, keeping your stop loss way lower if you are a holder. Whereas if you are a trader, then yes, you can change your strategy, so you can look at multiple patterns happening in smaller time frames. Then you can go into the buy side or sell side, wherever you want to do that. So if you are a seller, a bear, then yeah, if the price is going to break to the downside, then you can be a bear there. Now looking at, we'll actually just move on to BTC in USD and compare what's happening there. Now this is a 4-hour chart for BTC. Now yes, we actually have already discussed about this particular pattern, which is being followed from a long time. Now what we discussed previously was the double bottom, which has already formed here. Now to get the confirmation for that double bottom, we need to break to the upside. So if we are breaking to the upside, then yes, we do have our resistance around 8,300 area. And if we manage to break over that, then yes, a new pattern is beginning from there. Unless that time, you should be looking to trade this particular range until it breaks to the downside or to the upside. Now that's all the news which I got to share today. And if you guys like the content I provide on a regular basis, I request you guys, please do support the channel, subscribe and hit the like button. If you guys have any kind of suggestions to improve the content on the channel, please do let me know in the comment section below. So I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.